Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and start. Usually I know what I'm gonna be talking about on live. I have some sort of roadmap on what I'm gonna be talking about. However, tonight I have a few points I guess I wanted to go over that I've kept pushing back because I have just something would always override it. There'd always be some sort of topic. So this is not necessarily following any sort of, I guess, I don't even know what to call it. It's not following any sort of like sequence, or I just random things that I want to discuss. So, I've recently found myself on YouTube having spoken up about, my experiences and what I've gone through. I found myself on YouTube, and I find myself in a community of other people that have gone through the same thing that I've gone through, which has been, it's been a couple things. Like, on one hand, it's been relieving because it's like, okay, you know what, this is a drastic thing that I've gone through, and it's not easy to find other people that are willing to speak up. Even when I have found multiple people in Toronto that have gone through the same thing, they're not necessarily willing to speak up. Like, they'll tell you a couple things that they've gone through, but they're not going to sit there, and they kind of don't know too. That's the other thing. I know that people, they don't quite even understand what it is that they've gone through. They just know that they've had a very bizarre experience, they've lost a lot, and now they're just in a weird space, whether it's with their business, their job, they've had to move a couple times, they're unstable, and I can feel it that they're out of it. So for me, I've gone through my process. I think, I'm at a stage with it where I'm putting it behind me. There are a lot of things that I just don't care about entertaining anymore, whether that's me being outside or just people's energy or whatever. I've had to energetically block a lot of things, kind of out of my experience. Which I've been really grateful for, because I am dealing with an energy that is very persistently abusive and annoying and needy. More than anything, just very needy of attention. And I don't like people like that around me at all. Like in any capacity, like, you gotta be your own person. It's just a draining energy where it's like it always needs attention, or it always wants to like influence other people's like behavior or control people, whatever. It's like, get thee away, Satan, and I'm so happy that I've been able to accomplish that. But when dealing with or interacting with, meeting, hearing the stories of other gang stalking victims, it's really heavy, because I know that the reason why I'm able to do a lot of what I'm able to do, or to have the peace that I'm able to have, is because of my spiritual beliefs. And a lot of people don't share those same beliefs at all. And a lot of people, I feel like, don't have the same spiritual guidance even. And maybe they do have the guidance, but they're not able to read the signs. They're not able to decipher the information that they're getting, or maybe they're not open to getting the information that they should be getting. I know with myself, I've gone through a long process, which has taken many years, to get me to the point where I would have been able to successfully go through this thing. So it's been really sad, really, and when I say really sad, I mean like overwhelmingly sad, thinking about what people are going through without any spiritual protection, because I know I had a lot of spiritual protection, as I went through the worst of it, and it was so difficult. So I cannot even imagine what other people are going through. Like, I am naturally a person who needs to be isolated. I need my space, because people drain me as like regular people. I find draining. Regular people who've done nothing. Even if I go out and I have a good time, I feel drained. So I can only imagine, I used to not understand how people always need to be in other people's company, or they always need to have friends around or whatever. But, I can understand personality types a lot better now. And I could only imagine if people need company. They need. Hey YouTube, check out Can Boutique for super trendy dresses and genuine furs on clearance as low as 70% off. Prices starting as low as $27 Canadian. Visit www.shopcan.com. They need how would I put it? They need to interact with other people to feel alive, to feel, hope, and to just feel good. And then to be systematically ostracized and isolated. I can understand how that can be very difficult for them. Or even just feeling like piled up on, feeling like everybody hates you, feeling like, you don't know who you can trust. Like all of these things, that's what happens to gang stalk victims, feeling like you've lost a ton of stuff and not being sure how you're gonna get these things back, or if you're gonna get them back. And it's really hard getting back to a place of like feeling good about yourself after going through something like this. So I can only imagine, it's been so difficult. All I can do is just give information. I feel like there are particular reasons that I've gone through this, but if one of those reasons is to turn around and share with other people how they can get through something like this that is so emotionally grueling, so spiritually grueling, so draining to your spirit, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to do so. Throughout my journey, like I've said, I've been lucky enough to share in information from other people who've gone through it, and people who have been a community to me. It's been a community to help. I don't necessarily fit in spiritually in any of these spiritual communities that currently exist. So, obviously I'm not Christian. I'm not like a modern day denomination of any religion that one would consider of the light. And I don't consider myself a witch. I don't practice spell work. I definitely believe in it. I just don't practice it. And I definitely would never call myself dark, for sure. So I've been in a sort of middle place, and it's kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say isolating, because like I said, I'm not a person who feels the need to belong. Like that's not a need that I feel, but it definitely has been helpful to know that there are other people out there that are like me, because it's not something you choose, it's just something that you are. But I feel like a lot of people who are gang stalked, I just, in my heart and my soul, I feel like these people, like, we're all kind of the same, and you don't know. Because there's one thing that I'm consciously aware of with all these people, is that we all share the same sort of like personality type. These are all really sweet people. I myself, like, you'll find different people. Like some of us are a lot more fiery, for sure. I'm a Virgo, and every time I come across other Virgos, like, who are like me, we're all fiery. Like, we're not pushovers, even though we are very sweet, loving people. Like, we're empaths, but we're really, we can have very strong boundaries, is how I'll put that. But there are others that are just so sweet and they're so soft. And imagine people piling up on you and bullying you and still being such a soft person. So, I definitely, I sympathize a lot. And these are the people that I constantly think about when I make my videos, is people that are being gang stalked and they're so nice. the first thing that, and I guess I make these videos for them more than anything, even though I kind of like, I start my videos on live on Instagram, but I really make my videos for people on YouTube. Or at first YouTube was just an archive for people to go back to and just watch the lives that I've made, because it's obviously not an appropriate home on my clothing page. But yeah, the first thing that I'm gonna say in regards to that situation is I'm gonna give the same advice that I was given. Okay, your anger is sacred. You are more than allowed to be angry about what you're going through. This is an injustice. This is horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible what you're going through. So you're allowed to be angry. Okay? For me, I expressed my anger. I did the first 2 videos and then I had a bunch of angry videos after. I don't regret them. I mean, at first I was confused because I usually don't express anger publicly like that. I was confused on how to feel, but I don't regret it. And I feel good because you know what? I would have thought that, like maybe God wouldn't be happy that I was speaking that way. But honestly, it was a good release and I'm glad I did. And I think I was supposed to. On top of your anger being sacred, I feel like the next biggest thing that I had to accept is that everything happens for a reason in the way that it's supposed to happen at the time that it's happening. You're in the right place at the right time and you're experiencing the right thing, whether it's difficult or not. You have to go through it. The way I look at the world right now is with an entirely new lens, and I see things completely differently. I continue to say that I'm very shocked that I say, you know what, I see the benefit in me having gone through this experience, because I never thought that I would. And I thought, while I was going through the thick of it, I thought, if I come out of this and I find a reason to say that I see why I went through this, I swear to God, I'm going to apologize to God. I swear, because I was like, I don't see the point of why I'm going through this. This is horrible. First things first, I learned how to spiritually defend myself. And that's much different from being in a spiritual fight. Now, I've been in this. Okay, so let me back it up. People who throw dirty magic or dirty work at you spiritually, they do it in an underhanded way because nobody wants to fight. No matter how good of a witch or how confident you are in what you're doing, nobody wants to fight. It takes pressure, it takes time, and you take losses. And usually, and when 2 people who are spiritually gifted go at it, they want to take the other person out entirely. That's what they want to go for. They're not looking to just like injure you and you be down, because you'll be down for a minute and you'll send it. It will be never ending. So they always try to do it where you don't know that they're doing it. That's number 1. Number 2, so most people don't want to have a fight. They just want to throw some work at you and go along their way. So most people want to be bullies. They don't want to fight. But if people can fight and don't mind fighting, it's usually 1-on-1 or maybe 2-on-1. This was not that. This was like, I don't even know how many people on me at the same time. And I literally described myself as John Wick, because it literally was practitioner after practitioner after practitioner after practitioner. They were paying people. They had covens. They had all kinds of stuff. There were people locally in Toronto. There were people internationally. Like, it wasn't fair. They were contacting readers online to get to paying readers to give fake readings. It's been on and on where you don't know what to trust, and it's been like any way that they can create illusions or create nightmares, and they go, to quite a length to create illusions. They go far. They take it far, so it hasn't been easy, but it's like, for me, it's like, if I can get through that, I could get through anything. And that's what you need to know, is that if you can get through the stuff that you're getting through now, it's like easy sailing from after that. You fight enough practitioners, they get tired. And that's the reality. You stand your ground against enough people sending energy at you. Nobody wants to deal with that. No one wants to deal with your protection, because your protection doesn't get tired. Your protection doesn't get drained in the same way. Your protection doesn't, like, nobody wants to deal with that energy. Like, I could go to sleep. My protection doesn't need to sleep. It's constant. It's all day long. And it's energies that stay on people long after you've moved on with your life. A year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, they're still on them. So it's like, you gotta just be in a place with yourself where you just go easy with yourself. You're already going through a hard time, and you do not need, on top of a hard time that you're going through, to be fighting yourself and feeling down on yourself because you're feeling like, what did you do? Or if only you didn't meet that person or date that person, or like, go easy on yourself. It doesn't matter. You're here now, and you're here now for a reason. You need to tap into your spirituality for sure, because God isolates you and puts you in these situations of adversity for you to find yourself, and for you to have a closer relationship with the Most High, whoever that is to you. And to some people, it's God the Father. To me, it's God the Mother. That's who I am a lot closer to, and who, I spend a lot more time with, although I acknowledge all. And like I said, I'm not Christian, so I acknowledge a lot more than Christianity. But whatever it is that you believe in, whatever it is that's going to get you through, whatever you feel close to, and wherever you start is not where you're going to end spiritually. Spirituality is a lifelong journey. So you may start one way now, and you may just end up God knows where. But what is most important is that you start somewhere. If you have spiritual beliefs, you need to really create a practice of it. You need to create rituals of it. And a ritual is just a practice, right? Be very devoted in everything that you do. I strongly recommend sage. I always do, because it cleanses your space, and make a practice of using sage. You'll notice every time I come on camera, I always have sage, because people will take this as the perfect opportunity to send energy at you because they have you live on camera. So you want to clean some of that off. You want to have some crystals with you. You want to definitely say your prayers and, ask your protection and your guide to be with you as you go on camera. All of these good things. Take care of yourself. Like I constantly say, eat well, eat at home more than anything. Cook your own food, prepare your own food, exercise. And that's something that got me through the worst of it, is like, I was in the gym. It would help me sleep at night. It would help me tire myself out. It would help me, it would help with my concentration. It would help with my mood, regulating my mood naturally, and just balancing out my hormones. So if you can, even if you're just doing things at home, you don't have to have a gym membership, but, just make a thing of it. Just a couple sit-ups, some jumping jacks, whatever it is to get your blood flowing, or just even better, go out for a nature walk. Get outside, go for a nature walk, and just, have a brisk walk every day. That really, truly helps. And don't pay attention to this stuff. Like, a lot of it, whatever parts of it you can drain out. There's nothing says you have to pay attention to it. People are fighting for your attention. And they're gonna, it's gonna be bullying energies that want to force themselves into your perception, into your reality all the time. It is absolutely imperative that you drown a lot of this out. Like, just pay it no mind. If you're driving, check your mirrors less. They're going to follow you either way, but you do not need to acknowledge them. You don't need to be in a constant fight or flight mode. You don't need to be in constant anxiety mode. And you got to work at that, and it takes a while. It takes a while. It could take from a couple weeks to a couple months. It's not going to go away in a couple of days, because they want you to know that they are following you. The way that I look at the world now is I can see through facades. I can see what's going on. I can see through illusions that I would have fallen for from before. So, like right now, there was a girl that they bullied, they ostracized, they traumatized her, and now they're romanticizing her and pulling her back. Pulling her back in, giving her business only because they want to manipulate her, keep her from being a witness, and who knows, probably discard her when they're done. I can see through these things now. I can see, who's who without having to actually know people personally. I can see who's a part of what. I can see who to trust and who not to trust. I can just see a lot of stuff. And I'm so grateful for that. And that's the reason you have to go through the entire process. That's the reason why you don't skip steps. The manner in which I escaped, I hate the word escape because it sounds like I ran off. But to be honest, I kind of walked away because I don't have the fear in me that people wanted me to have. But I'll say the reason why I got to walk away in the way that I got to walk away, and the practices that allowed me to walk away, I could have done those from before. I knew how to do this stuff from before, to be honest with you. And half the time I'm wondering to myself, like, why didn't I? And I think back often of like strategies that I could have had. Like, I could have sold my house sooner. I could have done this. I could have done that. But honestly, had I done that, I would have been taken back in very quickly. It would have been a waste of time. I would have fallen back in because I didn't see everything that I was supposed to see. So please trust the timing of how long you're sitting in this situation. There is a lot to see. There's a lot to see. You have to see all the curveballs. You have to see everything that they're doing. So you're being trained right now. You're in a boot camp. And if God has a blessing for you, you're not getting your blessings and you don't know how to spot danger. You have to be able to know, like, can I trust this person? Is this a scheme? Is this a scam? Like, are people creating illusions around me? You need to be able to know that. Now, I'm not saying I've seen every illusion that there is, but these kind of ones that I've seen, boy, these are elaborate. These are elaborate schemes that I've come in contact with, all right? And I'm thinking to myself, if they can do this to me and I don't have, the kind of cash that I think it would be worth doing all of this for, boy, imagine what they're doing to millionaires out there. That's all I can say. Imagine what millionaires are going through. Imagine what kind of like corrupt schemes they're putting together for people that they feel that they deem worthy of all of that stuff. Trust the timing of what you're going through. Trust that you're going to be okay. Trust that it's being orchestrated. And, I know for a fact, my entire experience, God was guiding and, narrating that entire thing. Everything was guided by God. Everything. And I saw it. Even times where people felt like they were affecting my reality, they were not. There were times, and I've mentioned this in multiple videos, where I wasn't making money and I thought, this is ridiculous. And then, this is why meditation is so important, when you have these moments where you sit with yourself and you sit quiet. And then I realized, like, no, I don't want to be making money right now. I should not be. As a matter of fact, I'd be working for someone else inadvertently. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things going on with you, and that's really why you just have to like trust the process and trust God. And there are a lot of people that get it, to be honest with you. So there are some Christian people that they see through the illusions as well. They see exactly what I saw. So one of the things that I remember watching this guy's video, and one of the things that he said is, he said that they want your negative energy. Like, they really need your negative energy, he said. But that's something that I'm gonna, we should talk about in another video. And even when he talks about, like, he avoids certain subjects, and I feel like that's just being Christian and certain topics not being certain topics being too taboo, because they don't fall in line with the way that we're taught in the Bible. So it's like you avoid certain topics, but that, the Bible has a ton of stuff in there that is, witches use the Bible. Dark witches use the Bible. The Bible in and of itself is, as much as it preaches goodness and it admonishes evil, it's full of rituals, the same kind of rituals that dark and light witches use. Sacrifices and like burning incenses and like all kinds of things. Like, it's just full of rituals. The whole thing. But you gotta hang in there. You gotta, and I constantly say it, you gotta learn all the lessons that are coming your way. You gotta see things for what they are. You gotta take your time with yourself. You gotta be so gentle with yourself. It's a waste of time. Hold on, I'm gonna pick something up. It's a waste of time fighting yourself, thinking like, oh my God. Sorry, that card was hard to pull out. It's a waste of time fighting yourself and thinking about when you're gonna come out. It's so crazy, because just when I started getting comfortable in the situation being as it was, and just coming to terms with, okay, well, it is what it is. I'm gonna get comfortable and I'm gonna do what I have to do, because I'm gonna go around everything. It's fun. Was it this morning that I woke up like this? But there was a morning that I woke up and I realized, I was like, I'm getting really comfortable, like, with jumping over problems without, like, it just feels normal. Like, okay, because I don't like having a whole hysteria. Oh, this is not working out and that's not working and whatever. It's like, listen, it is what it is. You do this and this doesn't work, then you go the other way. So it's almost like the first time that I attempt something, or the first time that I have to do something, I'm looking at it already like my practice run. I'm not even looking at it like I want any type of result from it. I'm just seeing how it goes. And from the time I see how it goes, then my next thing is like, okay, so it's like I'm approaching everything already where it's like, okay, so if this doesn't work, then I'm going to do that. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to do that. My patience has gotten up. I've strengthened that. My resilience is through the roof. Like, you cannot break me. Period. I don't care what you're sending. I don't care how many of them are coming. I'm just ready. I've been ready every full moon. I've been ready just round the clock. It is what it is. Just round the clock. I'm ready at night. I'm ready in the morning. I'm ready on my drives. I'm ready on my walks. Like, it just is what it is for me. It's like, listen, if somebody wants to keep eating pressure, because they can't eat the work like I eat it, right? So it's like, if people want to keep eating pressure, then my pleasure, it doesn't take much to send people's work back or just take their energy. It doesn't take much. It's not like I have to come up with the energy. It's not like I have to conjure it. And it's not like it's going to put me in any type of anxiety or scare, or like I'm not going to be scared. There's not going to be anything to feed off of me. So it's like, what is it to me? I'm going to continue going on with my day. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to find a workaround. I know for a fact I'll find a workaround, because it's do or die. It's not like giving up on myself has ever been an option. I'm used to grueling environments. I'm used to working very hard. You know, and that's really what you need to come to terms with every single part of what you're going through. And you need to create solutions for problems and stop just accepting things as they are. So, you know, I was watching someone's video and they said people come into their home in the evening, at night. You got to get a bolt for inside of the door. You go to Home Depot or one of these places, a bolt, you could get a cheap bolt for like $9. Put a bolt inside the door. ASAP. Get a drill the door, put a bolt inside. So when you're inside, you're the only one that could get inside. Every single problem has a solution. That's what you're supposed to do. Find solutions to all your issues. Do not, for the life of you, just sit in a situation that's toxic, sit in a situation that's difficult, and just think, you know, this is it. This is what I'm going through, and, you know, I'm going to feel bad about it. No. Find a way. There's always a way. Just remember, your attention controls the effects of being stalked. Okay? If it's going to be, it controls to what degree you feel controlled and to what degree you feel stuck. Is just your attention. All right? I call it the construction worker method. So, you know, I think most girls, after they hit puberty, every time you walk past a construction site, you're going to get catcalling. And so what I do is I ignore them. And yeah, you have to endure them for that period that you're walking by. You have to ignore them.
Hey YouTube, check out Can Boutique for super trendy dresses and genuine furs on clearance as low as 70% off. Prices starting as low as $27 Canadian. Visit www.shopcan.com.
Why? You have to ignore them. But once you walk through the construction site and you're done ignoring them, you now get to have relief when you get inside of wherever you're going, or you get across the street, or whatever it is. So use the construction worker method when you are in a situation where, you know, you feel like your body feels alert because you feel like, you know, people are around you that have like weird intentions. Just get through that moment. Don't give them attention. You don't need to make eye contact so somebody can make, you know, some type of ridiculous face at you and whatever. Get through it and then, you know, move on to the next place that you have to go. Don't stay in any situation. If you feel like you're driving by and people are honking at you and whatever, or they're doing any sort of like, whatever you can do to get through that moment. If you can play loud music, buy headphones and put them in, whatever it is that you need to do that because you want to and need to get through the situation. Another huge one, look for synchronicities in your situation. So look for patterns of behavior. You'll know where you are in the phase of what you're going through by the patterns that you're seeing. So for me, I'm right back to the beginning of my cycle. I'm right back at the beginning, which lets me know, regardless of what, that the cycle is over. You want to see these kind of signs. Okay, look at things like when was the last time I drove past here, or when was the last time this happened, or whatever the case is. Look for these signs. And these things are called synchronicities. You know, you might see repeating numbers. You might see similarities in, like, I know one person sees similarities in colors. Look on the bright side of things. Don't always take things as if something bad is going on. It's not necessarily the case all the time. Pay attention to messages and trust your gut no matter what. Your body knows when it's in danger. Your body knows what's going on. So please trust your gut. My gut gets me through everything, and it is always right, and I believe it no matter what. Even if the situation does not look like it, even if I have no signs or no evidence, I trust my gut because it knows something that I don't. I'm going to leave it here because I didn't want this to be too late. Yeah, and I didn't want to go too late. I'm going to read my Spirit Oracle cards because I absolutely love them. I read them all the time. First one, don't allow anyone to abuse your power or take it away from you. Remember, you will be treated how you allow others to treat you. Show them that you value yourself far too much to settle for anything less than you deserve. This was a big one for me because I used to constantly... You're dealing with people that don't know boundaries. For people to open your door and come in your home, they don't know boundaries. You have to force boundaries down people's throats repeatedly that don't understand boundaries. And that means repeated behavior. Anytime someone did something illegal or passed their place with me, they knew I was going to instantly call the police and file another report and another report and another report until they got sick to their stomach. And not just filing reports, I was going to make things public. I was going to plaster their picture all over the internet. I was going to do all kinds of things to violate them, make them feel violated, raped, insecure, fearful, not have a good sleep for the rest of the week type energy. And that's what you need to do when people pass the line. You need to do something about it. Consistently, every single time, right away. So people never feel like they could cross me and come back, because I make it very clear. You cannot come back to me after you play games with me at all. I will instantly go into a series of actions that are going to be extremely unsettling, because I've made it clear, and I'm going to keep making it clear, but I'm not going to keep talking to people. So your boundaries are sacred. There's this saying that earth signs, I'm an earth sign, I'm a Virgo. There's a saying that earth signs, we protect our boundaries like national treasures. Like, I will go to war about a boundary. Literal war. I do not care. If I say that I don't like something, I'm not suggesting it, and I do not need to yell. I can say it in a normal tone, and people are supposed to respect that what I say, I mean. So it's taken some time to establish that, but get to work. You might have a journey ahead of you. You need to enforce your boundaries. And if there are too many people around you and you don't know who's doing what, you need to bolt doors. You need to put things in place where you know you need to give yourself a boundary and create security around yourself. And that starts with your personal space. So create safety and security around you, so people around you know not to fuck with you, including the neighbors, because they passed their place. They're stuck in that location with you just like you are. So you need to create circumstances that make them understand that whatever they're trying is not okay. If you pay close attention, you will notice all the doors that once closed are opening up, just in a different form. Things may not appear exactly as you had envisioned. I get this card all the time. Sometimes you really have to look on the bright side of things. There were good things happening in the course of gang stalking, and every negative situation comes with some sort of positive to it. Some situations just have to look harder than others, right? Like I was explaining earlier, some of the stuff that I went through, I literally went through those things and came on the other side with a ton of lessons that are going to carry me through the rest of my life. And where I'm going, they're definitely going to benefit me to know just a lot of things that I know now, right? You are not moving too slowly. Drop the self-induced pressure. You are at the sweet spot between taking care of yourself and still making advancements on your goal. On this path, there's no such thing as being behind. Smile, breathe, carry on. I pull this card. This is another card I pull all the time. I swear I must have pulled it last night as well. But it's the truth. It's something that I suffer with, is feeling like I want to do everything like right away in one day. Now, realistically, when I built this business, it took so many years. When I built my life, it took so many years. To get to the house that I just sold, it took 12 years of buying and selling and saving and sacrificing and not being able to purchase this and not being able to do that. It was a long trek to get there, just so that I would get there and people would envy me and make up rumors that I sold drugs to get the house. So it is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, just be the best version of yourself. And I really mean that. And I'm saying that from having come from it. The best version of yourself is not going to be 100% every day when you're getting gang stalked. The best version of yourself some days is like 40% of your normal capacity, but you're giving it everything that you have. And that's what's most important, is that you're showing up, you're not giving up. And you need to improve while you're being gang stalked. This is not easy. This is not for the meek, I'm telling you. Or it does happen to the meek, but it's not for the weak, I wanted to say. I was improving a business while being gang stalked. I was losing weight and getting in shape while being gang stalked. I was going shopping for new clothing, getting makeup done, and going to events. I was rebranding a business, pulling down the old image and putting up a new one. I was doing everything that you could think of while being gang stalked. I still had to get my work done. I still had to come home and cook for my kids and do laundry and, help with homework and projects and be there emotionally and for my children, for myself. All the hours in the day were not for me. I still had to pray and meditate, at the right times. You're being gang stalked, but there's a real life. They want you to neglect your real life, but you can't do that. You got to keep on course. And that'll teach you a lesson. Whenever you're going through stuff, you keep going through, but you keep handling everything that you have to handle, or else you're going to drop the ball and you're going to lose stuff. That just makes you superhuman. And I definitely believe that the people who've been through gang stalking are superhuman anyway. So I don't think it's a tall order. And I definitely don't think God gives you what you cannot handle. I think we made the strongest soldier list, whether we know it or not. And we're dealing with a lot, but I don't think we're dealing with the most. I think there are definitely people who are dealing with a lot more than we are dealing with. And for that, I'm grateful, because I say it all the time. I prefer to be gang stalked, but than to be on the run from the police and the mafia cartel, whatever the hell. 1,000,000,000 times over, I would prefer. 1,000,000,000 times over. Gang stalking is easy compared to that. Gang stalking, you could still walk around in your own body. You're not thinking about like changing your appearance and losing weight and gaining weight and doing all this extra stuff, because you know what I'm saying? So do your best. Do your best and know that it could always be worse. And I always tell myself, I'm like, don't tempt fate. It can be worse. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm at 42 minutes now. I hope that this message sends some encouragement. I guess I can't tell until I rewatch videos how speaking about it is just making me realize like just how much I've gone through and just how much stuff I've endured. And it's probably terrifying to people listening to it, but it's crazy. It's the stuff that we have to deal with, and people don't take us seriously, and no one comes to your rescue. And you have to pray for justice. You have to pray that, first of all, you have to pray it comes to an end, because it'll just keep going on and on and on. You got to pray that it comes to an end. And then on top of praying that it comes to an end, then you got to pray for your justice. And you got to pray that, God favors you enough to make things right for you. So with that being said, I may be at the point where the gang stalking is over, but, I don't yet have justice. And, that's another thing. That's a whole other story, is getting the police to make a move and to do something about it. And, just waiting and seeing how that process plays out. So I send prayers for everyone. I appreciate getting to know you guys and like hearing your stories. It gives me, first of all, it saddens me considerably, but it puts me in such awe and admiration for the strength, that very meek, quiet, loving, kind people have. So be strong. It has to end. It's going to end. I promise you it's going to end. You learn your lessons, pay close attention to everything, how they're doing, what they're doing. How do they track you down? How do they follow you? How do they know your routine? How do this? How do that? And then by finding out how, it helps you get to where I'm at. It helps you get to walk out of it. So adapt to your situation and walk out of it. Never give faith and never think like, oh, I'm just going to be here forever. Absolutely not. Carve a way out, and like I always say, manifest yourself out of this situation. So thank you for watching my video, and have yourself a good night.